Hit it out.
All right, y'all. Here we go. The OGs of the DMV doing a 2021 review show today, guys. 2021 review show on the offense. The offense this year. What we look like offensively in our games we had in 2021. Now, didn't look too good, but we won. We won 7 games. Put it out. We won 7 games. But we're going to do a review show on all phases of the offense. To the left of me is my man Trey Z. And the bottom down there is Deacon. And we are ready to go, fellas. What we say when we ready to go?
In the summer, youngest on the corners be runners. Out of towners be straight up corners. In DC, the K Corps, dirty Cadillacs, Desert Eagle cannon blast. Watch your back. Even the hood rats, keep it real where the hood's at. Swinging wooden bats at your so-called cats. You know how we roll, y'all get up in the back. Roll call in the back. Stole the Bama, watch his ass fall flat.
In DC, when you got chickens to make it harder to get them digits, the skins and them cowboy tickets.
In DC, the K Corps, dirty Cadillacs, Desert Eagle cannon blast. Watch your
All right,
back.
we're back. Ready to start talking about that offense and how we looked in 2021, what we did and what we didn't do. But my man Deacon, we didn't do nothing. Well, we scored some. We had a couple good output games out there. We scored a little bit. My man Scott Turner did a little bit, did a little something. But we're gonna start with the O-line, and my man Deacon's gonna start us off with the O-line. Deacon, tell us about what happened with our O-line this year and how we looked just in general through the whole season.
Well, as we did last year, we did this year, which is we moved people in and out through injury, through COVID. A little bit of everything happened to that O-line. It seems like we can't get right. We can't get a solid year where we can keep everybody together and actually see what we have as a unit. Once we work together for 3 or 4 games, it's always something going on. But as far as a whole unit, I didn't think they did too bad, man. I thought with everything going on, they did a yeoman's job. I liked it. I mean, we didn't open no big holes or nothing like that, but I mean, it is what it is when you bringing people in and out. I think Cosme. Let me bring this up real quick. I think Cosme did a pretty good job. He's obviously a professional. Sheriff, he's on his way out, but he did what he did. Played half the games. Rulli, he did pretty good, and so did Ishmael when he came in. Now Rulli got hurt, but Ishmael played most of the year. And he did pretty good, man. You can tell that he was a baller too. I mean, it's not even his position, center, but he still played pretty good. Flowers did good. Leno got his contract. Hey, I'm okay with it. I think next year we probably have to draft one more player on the offensive line, but other than that, man, we can stick what we got. It wouldn't be a bad thing to do.
Well, Sheriff is not going to be here, so we know Sheriff is not going to be here. Flowers is on a 1-year contract, so he may not be here. But
I thought he was on a 3-year contract.
I thought, was it 3-year or 1? I
think when we got him back from Miami,
we picked him up from Miami's contract, and it was almost over. We picked him up. He had 2. We played 2 down in Miami.
Because he was on a 3-year contract in Miami. He only played 1 year there.
Oh, so we got him for 1 more year.
Yeah, so I think we got 1 year. I think we got another year.
Tracy, who stood out for you in the O-line this year, man? How did you feel about the O-line, and who stood out for you for the O-line?
I think the O-line did what it needed to do for this year. Plain and simple. I agree with Deacon. I want to say that Cosme stood out to me, being the rookie, being the guy that would have been the weak link. He did his thing. I didn't hear a whole lot of blown assignments, Got hurt, came back, still did the same thing. He is a pro. Jay Leno, I like the signing. I'm cool with that. Get us some consistency. I agree with Al. Sheriff is gone. Flowers, not so much. I don't think Flowers. I think Flowers will be here. And Rulli, if he's healthy, we still got a backup in your boy, as Deacon said. So the O-line is okay. It's not dominating.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't want to. Now,
Can you win with an okay O line? That's
No,
what.
this is what I'm gonna say. Do we know it's an okay O line? Because I have to bring it up now. I'm not going to go deep on it, but I have to bring it up. I just don't believe that the offensive leadership is utilizing the talents that we have. I think that they're just calling plays, and that is not necessarily building to the capacity of what you have. And if what you have, and you know what you have, you can build around it. So you could turn an okay O-line, Big Al, into an awesome O-line with the right leadership. And coaching does matter. And so I think that I don't believe that happened. I think that they just became a situation where it was just bodies, you fill in, you run the play. Versus, you know what? Flowers is awesome at this. Cosme is an expert at that. And utilizing that with your backs and your tight ends and your whatever, just don't believe that's happening.
Let me ask you this, Trey, before you go on. Is Cosme a starter?
Cosme is a starter.
I'm talking about not just for the football team. Is he a starter in this league? Is he a professional?
If for whatever reason, hypothetically, we let Cosme go or something like that, he would get snatched up immediately. That young man is an awesome player. He's dedicated. He's energized. He's all of that. As far as offensive lineman, you could turn him into who you want him to be.
Let's eliminate Sheriff. What about Roulier?
Roulier
or Ishmael?
Roulier's signing was probably one of the offensive best signings, in a long time.
But a starter, right?
Absolutely.
Starter. Flowers.
Absolutely. Flowers is a starter. Yes, I think he's a starter. I think he is probably, if I was to go down the line of what I'm seeing in front of me right now, the weakest link. But I think he's decent.
And Leno.
Well, Leno got his money.
So, all I'm trying to point out is that we have a line full of starters in the NFL.
That's right. And we have backups. We have your boy
Ishmael. We got
Ishmael and Charles, and one other one, Schweitzer. So one of the things that we said even in the preseason that we were like, yeah, man, great. Get about 30 linemen in here because we just felt like that was the weak link. But the lineman coach did his job. Whoever that is, shout out to you. And I think that we're looking good offensive line.
Offensive line is our deepest position.
Well, I'll say this, fellas. We come from the 80s that's when we was really into football, especially watching the football team, the 80s. And we had an offensive line that had a nickname. They were so bad. Mm-hmm. They were so bad that they had a nickname. And it was the Hogs. Mm-hmm. And they was grunting and mauling people for decades, for a whole decade. Can this offensive line be as good or somewhere even close to that offensive line?
They would have to have time, man. It's going to take a whole year of being together to get something like that. Because, they big boys. All them big boys. And we got to see what we plug in there with Sheriff. Technically, you don't need to get nobody. You can put Schweitzer in there because he does a yeoman's job. He's all right. Or Sadiq Charles. Either one of these guys can come off the bench and start.
But is he Jim Lachey or Boston?
No. We don't have the Hogs, man.
Wait a minute.
I'm naming people.
Wait a minute. O-line. Wait a minute. It's not that you naming the O-line, but it's not that. That's
how bad they were.
It's about. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say it again. It's about the leadership. I don't agree with Deacon. I think what we do have are individuals that can be very close, if not just the same, but they're not getting the calls to do it. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Really?
I'm gonna tell you why. Hear me out. If you are pass happy, you're taking a step back as an offensive lineman. You're standing up and you're defending. You get what I'm saying? That's right. There you go, Al. That's what you're doing. When the Hogs were the Hogs, who were they blocking for?
Riggins.
Was Riggins ever considered a speedster?
Nope.
Ricky has speed now.
Was he considered a speedster? That's what I said.
He was a pound runner.
Thank you. Matter of fact, there were many fans from other teams that didn't understand how John Riggins could perform the way he did.
That's the truth.
All right. So what I'm saying to you is the coaching put the fire and the scheme together for those individuals to do what they did. And if you were to stand out all those individuals in their prime next to all these individuals right now, you wouldn't be able to delineate between the two. But what you have is a bunch of guys who are like been told to stand up, take a step back, put them hands up, versus, hey man, I need you to pull your 350, 60 pound ass and turn this corner. And whoever on the other team you see, I want you to lay every last bit of energy into him so that he has snot bubbles blowing out his nose. That is a different scheme.
I hear you. I don't think we had the hogs though. I think you're right.
See these guys being the hog.
No, you're right with the scheme though. The scheme, you scheme the team to play its best ball. So, I mean, I don't see any of these guys being able to play with the Hogs. I just don't, because they were so dominant.
Who was on the Hogs? I'm sorry. You know what? Maybe it's me.
You want me to name them?
No. You gotta name them. But I've seen
Mark May.
I've seen pictures of Mark May, Dave Butts, Joe Jacoby, all of them. I've seen pictures of them. No. Understand? Okay, let's understand. I'm saying that these young guys are faster, stronger, more fit than any of the Hogs.
You want me to tell you the difference? I'm going to tell you the difference.
Tell me the difference.
Anger. The Hogs were aggressively angry.
And why were they aggressively angry, Deacon? Why?
Because of the offensive line coach.
Thank you. That's all I said. So we agree. We agree. It's coaching. It's coaching, son.
Well, you can't.
It's a different era, though. It's a different era. It's a different era. But these guys are not the Hogs. These guys are not. They're okay.
They'll never be, because it's a different era. Al,
like y'all said,
they'll never be. They'll never be. No, listen what I'm saying. They'll never be if you keep saying it's a different era, meaning that, hey, it's apples and oranges. It's rocks and feathers. It's different. So we can't even compare because it's different. Other than it's football. And football is this. If you're going to have a coach, I bet you this. If all them Bama's was on Philly, and I hate to say this, guys, I'm not trying to, but if they was on Philly's team, you'd be, but they were wearing burgundy and gold, you call them Hogs. Because in Philly, they've dedicated themselves to the damn run. And they mean that those guys are doing what they do. Okay, and I don't even necessarily line our guys up to those Bama's. So all I'm saying is what it is, man. You had to blame the dude that crosses his hands on the sideline. No, you got to blame the dude. You got to blame the offensive line coach.
Yeah, it all comes
not going to the guy who's on.
But it comes. Which way is poo-poo flow?
All right, so we got to talk about the posse. Huh? The new posse, because the wide receivers and tight end.
Hold on, now.
I know, right now. It's a different era, but he keep calling them the same thing.
Hey, man, we can talk about the wide receivers and the tight ends of the 2021 team. We're giving them this a review show, guys. So anybody's watching, the OGs are doing a review show, and we're doing it on the wide receivers and tight ends. Deacon, give me what's your rundown on the wide receivers and tight ends.
Well, as the picture depicts, what you're seeing is the projected lineup at the beginning of the year. Okay, so it wasn't necessarily all of these guys. Yeah. Right. So obviously, everybody was excited when we signed Curtis Samuels, and that petered out as soon as his groins started hurting. He didn't play pretty much the whole year. Even when he played, he only played a couple plays, and it was really, I don't know whether he was trying to get the money or what. He had to play at least 3 games or something this year. But yeah, it was. Hopefully next year, hopefully he can get his growing right over this off season and come back strong. Because if he comes back strong and he is what he was in Carolina, then he is an asset. Let's say that he is an asset. I don't know if
We're talking about 2021 though. We're talking about 2021.
Yeah, no, I was saying he was no good. He was no good this year. Thomas was good until he got hurt. He is obviously getting better as a tight end. I was sad to see he got hurt like that, but that's what you signed up for. So nothing you can do about that. Ricky Seals-Jones came in and did a pretty good job. He's a big tight end. He's a blocking tight end. He can also catch. So he did some good things, and then he got hurt. John Bates, our rookie, he looks like a player. I like him, and I think he's going to be a good number 2. I don't think he's surpassed Thomas yet, even with the injury. We'll see how he comes back, but he's obviously a football player. So I like that. That was a good pick. Humphreys, I'm still not sold on Humphreys. He's slow. He doesn't flash. I mean, he catches something every now and then, but I don't know if he's not getting open or he's not being looked for. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't bring him back. I would give number 1 that slot.
Carter.
His name Carter. Yeah, I would give Carter the slot position and just roll like that. I mean, if he wants to be number 2, that's fine too, because he's not tremendously expensive. And neither is Carter. So I would definitely put Carter in there because he's proven the fact that he can actually
get open.
Yeah, get open and have an impact on the game. Hey, put Humphreys back there to catch the ball. Let's switch him up. Obviously, scary is scary, man. If he can get a number 2 in there to take some of that pressure off, take some of those double teams off, man, he'll go back to being what he. And he got 1,000 yards this year. I mean, so you can't spit on that. The first back-to-back 1,000 yard receiver since I can't remember who. That's bad.
So Santana?
I don't know. But whoever it was, it wasn't recently. So I like the receiving core if they're all healthy. We probably need a draft for a receiver. I wouldn't go into free agency with a receiver just because we're not good at that for some reason. But we draft one. De'Ami Brown, if he can learn how to run routes, how to come out of his break as opposed to running full speed all the time, then he can probably obviously he can catch. But he might be turned out. He's a rookie, so transition is kind of hard for some people. It's easier for some, but it's harder for others. So we'll see what he got next year, and we'll make a decision at the end of that year to see if he's any good. But he wasn't a factor this year as we thought he might be with his speed. You can't run a fly pattern every time. You got to run some patterns. It's a route tree. You got to learn that route tree. So draft the receiver, dump Humphreys, put Carter in there, and hopefully Samuels will come back strong, and Thomas will come back strong off those injuries.
We think Tracy 2021 posse.
Stop saying posse.
It obviously makes everybody laugh when he says
Stop that.
Hey, man.
1,000 yards, enough said. Humphreys, I'm not mad at Humphreys because he's here, what he's doing. It's another guy just like Emil. Those two can play in that position all day. I want to put number 1 into the Samuel slot. That's where I'm at with him. I think he is that much of an athlete. I think he is that much of an impact player, and I trust him more based on what he can and has shown me. So I would erase Samuels until he comes in and he could battle for that position with the number 1, Carter. In my opinion, I just think that's what it is. Those two guys could stay there. Now the Thomas position, to be in tight end is still sewn up with Mr. Thomas. And he has a lot of backups. So I do believe that De'Ami Brown suffered from more because of who he is, being a rookie, that Terry McLaurin suffered from, but just being an absolute all pro and the guy was able to overcome. And that is that we have some terrible quarterback and actually not the greatest play caller. You know what I'm saying? And so with that being said,
we'll get to that.
That's I'm giving him his credit on as a rookie receiver in the NFL. You do have to have an individual who is going to, because a receiver position is that Cadillac position. Because their receivers are different. Like, you can't compare a Megatron to even who's your boy 14 out of Seattle. Both of them are big dudes, but they're totally different. And if there's good coaching, is the reason why Megatron became who he was. Megatron was just a big body, but they coached up those plays for Megatron to get into those isolated situations in Detroit.
I've never heard anybody say anybody was coaching up in Detroit.
But here's what I'm saying. Here's what I am saying. The coaching in Detroit had nothing to do with their victories. I agree. But the coaching in Detroit had to do with the talent that was on the field. And unfortunately for Detroit, they only have usually 2 to 3 players every year. And one was Stafford, who is now going to the playoffs. Let's let that set in. Our quarterback that was supposed to be here.
We tried.
Playoff. But he told you. He said, "There's no coaching there." Here's what he said.
No players, man.
No. Give him the bag, but we try to give him 2 bags.
Because he had a Terry, he had a Logan, he has an AG, he had all those guys. He just there's no.
I mean, Terry was a rookie.
Stop.
Was his first year being anything.
Stop.
Okay, hold on. Hey guys, let's stick to the wide receivers.
Okay, all right. Sticking to the wide receivers. This is not a posse. I told you what I have. We get a decent quarterback in here. I heard that Deshaun Watson said that he's never coming, but let's pretend. We get a quarterback in here, and he's going to open up these receivers. So even a Humphreys and a Mills, who can do a button hook, will get the ball, because that particular quarterback is not thinking about one player and one player only, and will throw into triple coverage to him, because that's who he wants to get the ball to. You get what I'm saying? There's a little bit more to it than that. And that's one player. If Deshaun Watson was here, we use his legs, and he will then go and he will say, "Hey, I'm trying to get it to you, Mill. You was open for a second, but I don't know what you was doing. This is my last chance." A vet will get him to understand, like, man, do this, catch the ball, and that is what happens, man. That's why the 90-year-old GOAT himself is still threatening to go back to the Super Bowl, man. It's because he's that good to make. Like, Brown ain't there no more. A couple other players, the other guy went down, so he's gonna go into the playoffs with who? He ain't got no posse, but I bet you money, if you look at the stats, you will see what I'm talking about.
Hey, look, I'm gonna talk about these.
I'm always
right. Yeah, we know.
right.
Hey, look, the 2021 wide receiver core and tight ends, I wouldn't even say are okay. They're not okay. They are they are below average, I would say. My personal opinion. Size, Scary Terry. Because Scary Terry can separate. He can kind of do it all. I didn't see Humphreys separate. I didn't see Brown separate. I didn't see Thomas and Carter separated, but those and Scary Terry separated. Everybody else had no separation.
Sims did separate.
Big Sims? Big Sims was bodying people, man.
Yeah,
he just big body. He just big.
Big Sims toasted your boy in the end zone. The one that Scary couldn't even.
He mossed him. He didn't toast him. It ain't like he had a 5-yard gap.
You know, so I personally feel like we need another upgrade on our wide receivers. Unless Samuels can come back, because Samuels was known to separate. He was supposed to can separate. That's what I feel. I don't think, that in the 80s, we had some guys named the Posse, where they had a lot of separation. Art Monk get a little separation. We all know Gary Clark was getting separation. We all know Ricky Sanders was getting separation. These guys don't get separation.
But we also know, Al, that outside of corners, all the linebackers and safeties were like lighter linemen. I mean, it was a different time, as you said, different era.
Oh,
Here we go. Now he said he reversing it.
But no, I did that on purpose because what I'm trying to say is this. One thing about offense has the advantage every time they line up behind the ball because they're the only squad that knows where the play is going. It's the defense that has to figure it out. So it's a misadvantage. Every play, every team, USA. Now, with that being said, you have a De'Ami Brown. He's not slow. He's a big body. You're not going to tell me, Al. You're not.
He's not separating, homie. He's not. I don't care. It may be he doesn't know how to run the route tree like Deacon said. It may be he doesn't know how to run the route. He may have the strength.
I said it 2 shows ago.
Look.
5 and out to 5 and out. If
this is 5 and out, even though he has all that speed, he's not putting the speed on the field when it's time to put the speed on the field. He can do it on the track, but he's not doing it on the field.
Al, I don't believe it. Al, I think right now, you, sir, you line up in front of St. Juice and the quarterback whispers in your ear, run a 5 and out. I'm thinking to myself, Al is going to do an inside move, but his second step is going to the 5-yard line and going out. Now, St. Juice doesn't know this. Now, unless he chose to make that decision to go to the out because he's looking at Al and Al, it just looks like he's going to run out. I don't know what it is, but there's no way, sir, because a real quarterback already threw the ball. And Al, you're going to meet the ball at that mark. And that is what Heineke didn't do. You saw Heineke, you were like, throw it. And Heineke was like, I need to throw it. And it was like every time you saw it, you was like, there he is. There he's gone. Oh, he's throwing it. And it was like, he was always a second or 2 behind. And it was like they didn't do any practice. It was like you stop. You guys
let's do the same thing we did for the offensive line. Is Samuels starter in this league?
Samuels not anymore.
Healthy.
No. Oh, healthy.
Healthy he is.
Yes,
healthy he is.
McLaurin.
Yes.
Starter. Okay, so we got 2 outside starters potentially, right?
Yeah, healthy.
Thomas, tight end.
Yes.
Is he a starter?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's your out. It's slot Humphreys. Is Humphreys a starter in this league?
Yep. Because the slot player is exactly who Humphreys is. And
It's not.
Okay, no, I'm serious. That's exactly who he is. Because I'm gonna give you an example. Cooper Kupp and Humphreys are the same
Kupp
guy.
is fast.
No.
You're crazy.
Listen, hear me out. You can be. Stop. Listen.
I'm trying to help
Marvin Harrison was slower than all these guys I just named. Marvin Harrison was a premier receiver. Marvin Harrison had a quarterback that liked Marvin Harrison that made Marvin Harrison a household name. Marvin Harrison, I think I can beat him. Marvin Harrison is slow. Marvin Harrison's always been somebody, but Art Monk, Al was slow. Art Monk wasn't a fast.
Art Monk was going downfield.
Art Monk did
That
go.
wasn't his thing. That wasn't his thing to go downfield.
Okay, but that wasn't even in the equation. But when he did go downfield, he was successful, which is the reason why he kept.
Because everybody's so surprised he went downfield.
Stop.
All right.
No. Hold
He was
on.
a man, but he wasn't fast.
Y'all keep putting it on this idea that people are putting in your head. Like I told you, the Jets, the Bengals, the Browns, the Detroit, all these guys that stink to high heaven get these number 1 draft picks who are fast, who are quick, who are all these things. And they ain't nothing. Every freaking year, And there's a reason. And I need y'all to stop this athletic thing and they coming in with this pedigree. It's bull jive, man.
No, it's not about
bull jive.
Okay, so let's
you trying to
get
tell
a
me
bunch of C
I
players.
can go get a high school wide receiver and he can make plays in the NFL because of timing and a good quarterback?
I'm what I'm going to tell you. I'm going
Is that what you trying to tell me?
I'm going to tell you this. Ask Belichick.
All right, let's move on to the running backs. We're going to the running backs now.
That's Belichick.
2021 running backs.
Got a young boy named, what's his name in there now?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
You know who it is.
We going to the running backs.
That can't do nothing. That's who it is.
You talking about mac and cheese? I got you.
Mac and cheese is about to be the next cheese for everybody.
Hey, we'll see next year because they got to figure him out. That last game, they figured his ass out.
Okay.
All right, we're talking about the running backs. So let's move on.
10-3.
Tom Brady sucked the first 2 years. I'm going to let y'all know.
Now move on to the running backs. Running backs, we're talking running backs. We're not talking about Tom Brady. We're not talking about mac and cheese. We're talking about the Washington football team running backs. Running backs. All right, backs. Crazy. How do you think our backs did this year?
Our backs did great.
AG, he was great.
AG was great based on what he could do. He dropped the ball. He did drop the ball on occasion. But what I'm saying is this: in his transition from wide receiver to running back, I haven't seen in the last 4 years a running back hit the holes, continue to play. He has moves. He hasn't been utilized to again. Y'all don't want me to bring this up, but I'm gonna do it anyway. He hasn't been utilized to his skill set as far as catching the ball. A former wide receiver is not going out the backfield catching the ball, but okay. And with that being said, he still got 1,000 yards fumbling with 1,000. So that right there. Now, am I letting the fumbling go by? No, that's horrible.
That's horrible.
And if he doesn't fix that, that will be a problem. Now, he does have a backup who I think is actually better. I keep saying that, and I'm gonna keep saying it. I like J.D. McKissick better than I like Antonio Gibson in the backfield. Why? Because when he runs aggressive, and then outside the backfield in the last 2 years, and that's 2, y'all, he has been the leading running back in reception. Funny, I would think that would be AG, but it's McKissick, and McKissick's a threat. And because when I see him in the open field, Bama's is like, I don't know what to do with this guy. This guy's a threat. I hated the fact that he was hurt. I think it took a lot of a major tool away from our offense and everything when he was down. And I think that they were scared. They were very scared to see all the things the water bug can do. Because when the water bug got the ball, I wasn't worried about him fumbling. When the water bug got the ball, you can tell that the offensive line and the water bug, there was a word about it, is what I said. The offensive line and the water bug, they weren't gelling yet because he hasn't had the playing time. Again, that goes back to coaching when I'm thinking and I'm saying, okay, you want to build somebody up, you want to get them ready, not just 2 plays a game. This guy, because you usually use him when somebody's tired or whatever like that. I wanted to see him more. He earned his position on this squad, legit. And I just think that this guy could do so much more. So between the 3 guys, and I'm going to throw in number 35. What's his name? Williams? He runs hard. I like, what I think about when I think about backs? When I think about backs, I just want a back to say, I'm getting the ball, and I'm treating it as if it's my first and last run in my life. And when I can see that aggressiveness and that tendency, not that tiptoe Portis, fall down 2 steps forward, not that stuff. I'm talking about dropping soap. Hey, why you have to bring up his situation?
Hey, man.
I'm talking football.
Oh, okay.
And Portis did tiptoe. He wasn't running like he was running in Denver when he got here. And then he was slow because you saw how Bama tracked him down. But anyway, the bottom line is this. I like Williams.
Portis' first carry as a Washington Redskin was a 60-yard touchdown run up the middle. Just saying.
His running back's usually the John Riggins larger variety, but you know what? This is Clinton Portis. He'll take a little speed, and he could go all the way. Look at all the fans shouting touchdown.
He still has speed.
Why are you
Because he still
saying?
has speed. You said he was
Why are you
slow.
saying? No, he was, because how many games did we watch get tracked down? He was gone. And
He got chunky after a while.
He got a little chunky ass.
He got that bag, got chunky.
The nose guard is like, wait a minute, how's the nose guard? No, Portis wasn't who we wanted him to be. He was enough. AG, so let me ask this question, fellas. AG or Portis?
Right. I mean, Portis at the beginning, and when Portis was at his prime.
Portis in Washington.
Portis the first 2 years. I'm gonna take Portis the first 2 years.
Portis first 2 years.
Yeah.
Same thing, Deacon?
Yeah. I mean, but not
the first 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, Portis was a threat.
The third year he got chunky. I admit he got chunky.
Well, anyway,
last 10 years, the running back, as far as running backs go in Washington, who is the goal? Who you comparing AG to?
I mean, I always look at one of our best running backs really for a brief period of time, even though he was an old man, but Adrian Peterson.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I do, man, because
you didn't say that.
Old man. He was an old man.
He had 1,000 yards too.
Yeah, he had no, and we didn't have no offensive line that year. We didn't have no offensive line.
He was saying. Who you saying, D?
Me? I don't know. He's a mixture, I think, because he runs hard and he has some moves, man. So, I don't think he had. Okay, first years. Let's say first years. I would compare it to the last running back I was here. That when came in with RG3. What's your boy name?
Morris.
Alfred Morris. He's kind of that kind of back. His first couple of years, kind of that kind of back. Although now, I don't know if you were finishing out with your soliloquy there. But if you want me to go into the running backs, I can get to my running backs.
I thought that you would say the truth, which is Adrian Peterson, but you said because you were just trying to be. Adrian Peterson was a monster.
I ain't say I'm saying I wouldn't compare him to Adrian Peterson.
No, what I'm saying
old man Adrian Peterson here.
Right.
I mean,
so because we're building a running back core to the point that, because remember, coaching has us not running anymore. Washington has always been historically, traditionally a running team, but we left that. I don't know what happened, and we don't do it anymore. And so now we're coming back to that. As a matter of fact, we were texting, we were screaming at the top of our lungs, why is he stopped running? What is he doing? And put the ball in Heineke's hand to throw it, and then we don't do what we need to be doing. So what I'm saying is that you asked me a question. I want to sum this up with this. On a scale of A, B, C, D, I give a running back core a solid B+.
Deacon, what you got on the running back core?
Well, I know that you like McKissick better than you like AG, but for me, it's AG. AG, man, getting 1,000 yards. You got to remember he lost a game this year too with an injury, and he's been working through a turf toe injury. So
he's a soldier. No question about that. That's a soldier.
So being that, I mean, especially toward the end of the year when they started running more, you can tell he was pounding the ball, getting 100 yards a game. His last game, he got 140 something, I think. So if you run this guy, he will run the ball and he will get you yards. I mean, he's averaging 5 yards a carry. So, I mean, I like JD too. I think they both serve different aspects of the game. I don't think that they're thrown to AG as much because you have McKissick. You have an alternative. McKissick can run and catch the ball, which is good for a third down back. And in spots he can run any time, first down, second down, whatever. But I like AG. I think he did a good job this year, man. Him and Terry, 1,000-yard seasons, man. You got to give it up to him. Good combination. if we can get a quarterback. So them two, I give A's to. Even though McKissick didn't finish out the year, I still what he did obviously is an A+, man. Both of them, I get A+. Now the fumbling issue is an issue, but it's something that can be rectified. I think we can rectify a issue, especially on the offseason, because you can sit there and fumble last game. You can't do it. I wouldn't sit him too. One time he said the rest half until the half after he fumbled. You know, but I wouldn't keep doing that, because you most of the time when running backs fumble, man, you throw them right back in the game, give them the ball, because that's when they're gonna hold it the most, you know, because they don't want to fumble again back to back. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I like the water bug. I don't think he's ready, but I think he's a good number 3 running back, just in case McKissick gets hurt again. That's a good little alternative to have. I think they kind of have the same game, although McKissick probably has better hands for catching the ball on the out, and probably running better patterns too. I saw the Waterbugs run a couple patterns, but they basically button hooks up the middle, which is fine. He caught the ball; it's all good. Third down, that other back, I wouldn't put too much stock in that. He is a good practice squad guy, and that's where he should stay. That's it, Big Al.
All right, I'm gonna wrap up the running back situation and say I always compare, like I always do in this whole show. I've been comparing to the 80s, and I'm thinking to myself, are this running back core comparable to the 80s running back core? And you got to think of Riggins, Joe Washington. You got to think of Brian Mitchell. You got to think of Ernest Biner. You got to think of, some of those back. So, you got to think of Timmy Smith.
3 yards in a cloud of dust. Stop.
You got Timmy Smith. Those guys.
Right,
does these running backs compare to
he broke the record.
These running backs again? And I say no.
1 year.
I say no. They don't compare. And I'm looking for excellence. Y'all guys are looking for mediocre.
No
excellence.
Well, look, but we don't have excellence.
Y'all keep on saying, "Oh, they're okay for now. They're okay. They're pros. And they give them thumbs up and all."
I want to give it a whole team.
I'm looking for excellence. This is not excellent. They okay, but they not excellent.
What's on the team is excellent?
Huh? Scary Terry's excellent.
Yeah.
Terry's excellent.
Scary
Terry can play in the 80s. He can play in the 80s. Can he play in the 80s?
So can Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas can play in the 80s.
So here's my thing. So, and I'm glad.
You don't think AG can play with those with that line in the 80s? Stop it. Stop.
Not if he fumbled the way he fumbled this year.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Gibbs is pulling him out. Gibbs is gonna pull him out.
We ain't talking about the fumbles. We talking about running the ball.
No, okay, that's totally different.
Deacon, no, I don't think he is good as Ernest Biner. I don't think he is good as Brian Mitchell. I don't think he's at that level yet. He can be. He has athletic ability. He's okay. But he's not excellent. He's not excellent.
Back-to-back 1,000-yard season. He's all right. Let's get rid of his.
Do we need to talk about the quarterbacks at all, guys?
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Listen.
Do we need to talk about the quarterbacks?
Why?
We know where that stands. We're in the draft and we're in free agency. That's all.
Yeah, so we know the quarterbacks get D's, I guess, or they're definitely not.
They're back.
They're back.
Even Ron said in his interview they're gonna be looking heaven and earth trying to find them quarterback this year.
So now we're down to coaching, Tracy. Your number one topic, homie. Offensive coaching. We're talking about 2021's offensive coaching team, starting with my man, my bowling partner, my ace boom, Turner. Tracy, offensive coaching and as a whole.
That's
ladies and gentlemen.
offensive line, wide receiver coaches, everything
Everybody.
Everything offense.
Oh, everybody. Oh, okay.
And excludes Turner.
I know you're about to go on your rant about
That's about to get.
Let me stop that. We be here all day.
Offensive line coach, great. Tight end coach, awesome. Wide receiver coach has absolutely no say. Because obviously, what he puts on the field outside of Terry, he has no say. I don't understand that. I didn't see any rhyme or reason. He had, and not taking anything away, but I'm or even trying to boost him because I don't really care. But Sims, I mean, he carried our team the year before with what it is, and I didn't see him, so I don't understand what the wide receiver coach does. So, and running back coach, good job. And so I will say that now.
Quarterback coach.
Did I cover everybody? Oh, quarterback coach. That's obviously Ron Rivera, because the quarterback coach is just there to tell him, "Hey, man, put your fingers on the strings." I mean, that's all he does. It's like he's drinking coffee, making millions of dollars. Like, hey, is your fingers on the strings?
Spin it.
All right, that's what it is. So now, offense.
Still get back to that.
Yes, absolutely. Last year, I bit my tongue. Matter of fact, y'all made me.
Yeah, we did.
This year, you guys can see our offensive coordinator.
We had our injuries straight chasing.
Maybe I can't see nothing because the fire in my eyes. I don't even want to see anything right at this point. I'm gonna talk to you out the glasses on. Just see the blurry silhouette as I drill into this dude. Your boy does not understand the dynamics when it comes to what we need, not what he's trying to do. You can have all the injuries in the world. If you are a coach in the National Football League, my expectation is that you are preparing for that, because injuries will happen. Will happen, Al. I don't care who you get. Injuries are going to happen. Yeah. And if the guy that you have is a 10, but the guy who's backing them up is a 4, that's you, sir. That is you, the coach, because you don't have a 4 backing up your 10. You have an 8. You have an 8.5. You don't even settle for 7, because that is what it is you do. And if you do have a 7, let's pretend that you do have a 7. And if you do have a 7, you have 4 good plays for that 7 that you held in your pocket that is going to make that 7 look like a 10, so that you could trade us behind and get you a real 8. You get what I'm saying? Because that's coaching. That's where you got to be thinking. There's no favoritism. There's no love. No, it is about this year and next year. You might not be here because I could get somebody better. That's coaching. That's what I expect. Scott started the show a little bit. I forgot what game it was where he did the trick play to Bates. And I was like, oh my God. Scott opened up the other book and was like, call this play. And he called it right when it was needed. And I was like, hey, can this guy be a coach? And then 3 to 4 games after that, hell no, he's not coaching. He's just not, because there's no more waiting in Washington. I need y'all to understand that. Now, the best thing that can happen for Mr. Turner is the fact that we're about to rebrand. We're about to rebrand. We're about to get all the new coach, new quarterback, new whatever. I mean, everything's going to be brand new, right? So that's going to help him at least be able to reboot. But if he goes back into this situation and he doesn't realize that the players that he has on the field and what they can do, we're going to know that game 2. It's time to go. You just can't allow this apathy to happen any longer, man. You can't, Al. I mean, I know the Pabst Blue Ribbon. Hey, look, I know the Pabst Blue Ribbon is good,
Hey
with
Trey, you mind as I jump in here for a little? I just want to say
Jump in
something.
there.
I just want to defend my man Scott. I know we talking about coaching and everything, and I just want to throw a little nugget out there. So when Ron brought Scott in, he was under the impression that we had a number 1 pick as a quarterback, and we was going to be throwing dimes out there. So Scott is an offensive quarterback who favors throwing the rock. We had Haskins. He was the number 1 quarterback. He was our first round pick, and he can throw that rock. So when Ron took the job, he brought my man Turner in to throw the rock, and we hadn't had a quarterback here to do what Scott does well, what Turner does well, which calls offensive pass plays. He schemes out people open on the offensive side with a good quarterback that can throw all the throws. We have not had that person here on our team in the last 2 years since my man that I go bowling with has been here. So now I get my man Trey Z talking about we got to run the ball, pound it. That's not what he does. That's not what he does. He throws the rock.
Yeah, and he's thrown the rock to this particular season, and there you have it. and just suck it up. Let it sink in. He did what he does, which was nothing. And I say nothing only because a coach has to adjust, and you adjust according to that.
But you have a philosophy. Well, Deacon, I'm gonna let you speak.
Let me ask you a question, Big Guy. Let me ask you a question. And this goes along with my.
We're talking about offensive coaching, right? Offensive coaching.
We're talking about offensive coaching.
All right.
The question. Let the man ask the question.
Listen, let me get through this real quick.
All right.
Tight end coaches did a good job. Lineman coach did a good job. Receiver coach, I think they did an okay job. I think. Yeah, because who you got to choose from. I mean, yeah, you can say you can have a 7, but you got to make them an 8. Yeah, but it's not a lot of 8s out there. You got a lot of number 1s and half number 2s. Yeah, because that's when they get traded to another team because they're a good number 2, they end up being a worse number 2 to a number 3. They're not stars. So they look at Galladay, who's coming off a good season in Detroit. He didn't even score a touchdown in the Giants. So,
come on, man.
I want to say they got a better coach. They got a better quarterback than we had for most of the season.
No.
To me, he did an okay job. I mean, I don't think we had a lot of pickings to pick from. So I think he did an okay job. He got us through the season. He recognized that Diami wasn't it this year, and he didn't force him out there at every game that played football. So those, I think, all across the line did pretty good. The running back coach, I think, did a good job. Yeah, even with the injury, I think they did a good job. Quarterback coach, you know how that it goes. But let's, as we're focusing on, for some reason, Scott Turner. I'm stuck in the middle with Scott Turner, and it is the only reason why is because I haven't seen anything particularly well in his scheming to get us points. Okay, we're horrible in the red zone. But like I was saying, what does he really have to work with? So my question was, before I started Big Al, is just because you don't have anything to work with doesn't mean that you're off the hook. I mean, so if we don't get a quarterback next year and we had the same team, do we just get him off the hook next year because he has nothing to work with? Or is he supposed to work with what he got and perform to what we have? Yeah, he wants to throw the ball. He wants to throw the ball 50 times, but we don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball downfield. So you can't do that. So we have to run. So you have to change along with your team.
Or dink and dunk. We dink and dunk.
Whatever it is. I'm just saying.
Okay.
That was my question, Al.
Okay, let me ask. Can I answer it?
Do you know what my question was?
Yes, I know what the question is. Okay, so before we start talking about the coaching, we talked about the individual positional players and how they rated and what we thought of them. And both of y'all, and including me, said each and every position, they was okay. They're all right. They're professionals. No one said anything about excellence except for Scary Terry, and we had a couple compliments about AG, but that was it.
We said
everybody else was just okay.
They were starters. We didn't say nothing about okay.
So Trey Z was talking about you got 10s and then you got 8s. But what y'all said, the whole team's a 6. The whole team is a 6. So then you want a miracle. Then you want Scott Turner to make a miracle happen with a bunch of 6s. And he's playing against the other team's defensive coordinator and the other team's defensive players are all 10s.
They're not all
10s against 10s.
I disagree. They're not all.
How you gonna do it?
They're not all.
The talent level wasn't there, Tracy. Offensively, the talent level wasn't there.
They're not all.
Scott Turner can't make lemonade, baby, with just 5 lemons.
You can't argue with Al.
I'm gonna argue with him. Hey Al, where was your boy, the safety number 20?
We're not talking about defense. We're talking about
Stop. Can I finish?
Okay.
Where did he come from?
Miami.
And in Miami, he was
8.
Where is he now?
He's about a 7 or 8 for us.
He was just a guy last week, Al. You just
hold up, though. The Giant game, he was the man.
Okay. What about Collins? What about Collins? Collins is a what?
Collins is a linebacker. Is a linebacker.
And what was he in Pittsburgh?
He wasn't at Pittsburgh. He was a Giant.
Giant, wherever he was.
He was a 10 at Giants.
So I'm using these two as an example only because they first came to my head, and then when we seem to go get anybody for free agency, so defense.
But we're not talking about defense. We're talking about offense.
We are talking about offense, but
we have a bunch of 6s on the team. We have 110. We have
a bunch of guys, and I'm debating that. What I'm debating is the fact that when they get to Washington, they lose their stack.
Guys, Logan Thomas was a 4 in Detroit. We made him a 6. We made him a 7. He was a 4.
Logan Thomas played a whole different position. So that was just a unique.
No, he played tight end for Detroit. He was a backup tight end for Detroit. He was a 4. We made him a 6 or 7. He's a 6 or 7.
Logan Thomas is a 6?
Yes, because he can't stay healthy. He's a 6. He can't stay healthy.
Well, you had the variables that are.
Come on, but my whole point is you want to put everything on Scott Turner and his play call and everything, and he has a bunch of 6s playing against 10s, and you want him to score 35 points a game. That's not going to happen.
Scott is trash. When was the last time we scored in the red zone?
On offense.
When was the last time we scored in the red zone? It's a red zone.
A bunch of 6s. I'm telling you, we can't.
It's 50 yards.
In the red zone.
70 yards into the red zone and can't do nothing.
Tracy, in the red zone, you need a good offensive line in the red zone. You need to muscle people. And we got dudes doing like this. You said it yourself.
I said it.
Like this.
And why are they doing that? Because the offensive coordinator said, run,
average players. Your
coach, your offensive coordinator, on let's say
Deacon, you hear what I'm saying, Deacon?
A first and goal will call a pass play instead of running a rock because he don't have no other play. When we're down and we are trying to score at the last couple of minutes, he don't have no plays for that. When the guy needs to get a first down, he don't got no plays for that, Al, stop it.
No slot player.
Stop it.
We don't have got to do with 5 and out.
Let him go, Al. Let it go. The guy.
It's amazing to me. Y'all sit there and y'all said the whole team on offensive wise, they're just okay. They average. Blah, blah, blah. But then you want 35 points a game. You want 35 points a game. How can you do that? How can you say that?
First of all, I'm gonna say this. You know all I want? I want it to get to a point where if we get down to 10 yards out of the goal line, we run 4 running plays that could get us to the end zone.
What linemen to do this?
But
linemen
won't do that. If by chance they're coached to have a running play. Running play. One.
We were 7 and 10.
Run that running play 4 freaking times because it comes down to how bad that you want it. Hey, look, you know No. Stop.
Chill out.
No, I'm not chilling out.
We were 7 and 10 this year. We were 7 and 10. We were not a good team.
Because
we had a bunch of 7s, not a bunch of 6s, because we won 7 games. So I mean, it is what it is, man. We suck this year. Hey, listen, we're picking number 11. That says it all.
Comfortable coaches
That
and
says it all. We're picking 11.
coaches are comfortable.
Hey, y'all, you like this type of contact? You like this type of fussing? You like this type of... I love it on the Washington football team, future Red Tails. Come to see us, the OGs of the DMV, baby. Come see us on YouTube, Facebook, whatever you want to watch us. We're talking like this every week. We're talking about our passion, which is the Washington football team.
Sorry, Coach.
Red Tails.
And it's too late to join the Red Tail Dancers. You missed out. Thought it was gonna be the Admirals or the Commanders. Red Tails, baby.
Red Tails, baby. Hey, y'all, we got a review show on the defense next time. And I think we just as passionate. We just as passionate. Come and hear that. Trey Z is going to pump up the defensive coordinator this time. He's going to pump up the defensive coordinator because he's the defensive coordinator supporter.
All right, fellas.
All right,
we'll
so
see y'all next week.
Me on the radio. I know you hear me on the radio, but you still don't be if I do this, I got your girl. Sugar, but let me tell you, when the